Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for joining me today. Friday has finally arrived. Thank God. What a long week this has been. Hope everybody has some interesting plans for the weekend. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, A. Ramsey. Hello, H. Hendricks. Hello, Dave. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for joining me, all guys. My name is BigChonis. From you guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at BigChonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, an investor, a mentor, a chart psychologist. Please do your own research. All right. You guys remember I am also offering my mentoring through September. If you guys have any interest, please feel free to DM me or email me at bigchonis@gmail.com. I'm also in the Discord group with Vamp and Until One Mil. Please email me or DM me if you have any questions about that. We'd love to have you over there. All right, so let's talk about some kind of bullish Bitcoin right now. Now, we had our futures expire yesterday. Sorry, we had our futures expire this morning, or I guess it depends when you are, but it was 11 a.m. East Coast time, and we had a little pop in the market. I'm on the 15-minute chart here, and we're seeing a very nice, move here and continuation, and we're just breaking through 7,000 now. And I have a Bitcoin, he's over here. This is our Litecoin over here. And some nice volume and some nice bullish momentum here. So we're trying to see, once again, what kind of levels we're going to retest. Now, we have been looking at certain areas here. Let me go actually up to our hourly chart and get a little sense of where our Bollingers are here, because we're getting a little bullish here on the 15. So, okay, look at that. We're actually breaking through our Bollinger on our hourly chart here. Now, I like the volume too, and looking here at our hourly chart as well on Litecoin, nice little move there, So we're seeing if we can get something going here. Let's go zooming out here. I guess this is distracting me, so let's go to our 1 year. Okay, so let's take a look at our 1 hour chart here. Let me auto us up here. So our Bollingers are actually pretty tight here, and relatively speaking in the hourly. Now we saw how tighter they could get over here, and now we're looking at something kind of similar where we breached, but we're finding resistance. Once again, pulling us into our Bollinger. Now we're only 25 minutes into this current hour, so this is still has a long way to work here, but we definitely have a good back-to-back bullish push here after we were able to find support in this area here of our lower BB. Now our EMAs and our middle Bollinger are so very close together right now, so we have really tight price action still that really isn't going to change that much until we get some more momentum here. So even though I'm liking this move here, I mean, our volume has just been kind of bupkis this whole way. And again, this is all relatively speaking, but a lot of this is hard to determine if we're really actually having momentum here, if this is just our exchanges doing our wash trading once again, or all the tether printing kind of flowing, adding liquidity into the market. I mentioned our OBV last time about how I saw some bearish divergence, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. But we're just seeing this consistent, very tight range here, and it just feels like it wants to do something bigger than this. So our 4-hour Bollingers are still, they're not very tight yet. Even this wasn't very tight, but it definitely had an area to move bullishly there. We have broken through our center line here, which is interesting. We actually have not been able to really get through it. Now this one has 2.5 more hours actually to close out. So we're going to watch to see how that does, because if we can find support above our middle Bollinger there, then yeah, I would definitely start looking at our upper BB as our next target, 71.38. And once again, our indicators, my indicators, which is my EMA 12, EMA 26, EMA 55. I like how our 26 has held on our 4-hour support. Remember, we broke bearish from it, but we closed above. This was actually a very bullish sign here, along with our long wick that showed that buyers came in decent volume there. The fact that we were able to close above after testing it initially was actually very important. That's what given us this push here, told the market that, hey, we actually have some strength here and we can actually move forward a little bit if you just you hold my hand, I'll hold yours. So we have this continuation. We're actually able to put in a higher high here than where we topped off yesterday when we had this nice move here. This was the last 4-hour candle of yesterday's candle, actually. Remember that? So we had all this, and then we had our futures close, and then that was this candle here that actually brought us back above our EMA 26 and allowed this to move here. So that's very nice. Look at a couple other indicators here. Oh, I gotta definitely do this first. There we go. And oh, interesting. So looking at our channel here, so we were able to back test our channel support area and bounce from it. That is encouraging, and we are holding in this area as well. We are above 50, which I also like, even on the 4-hour chart. And oh, interesting. So we actually had a quick bear cross, but quickly rejoined here because our trailing indicator didn't cross fully bearishly yet, which means this actually has some more running room here potentially. We've actually turned bullish again in our stochastic. Now, see, this is 4 hours. So our MACD is still all right, well, let's acknowledge a couple of things here. So once we're able to break up on the plus side here, we've been holding, and that is notable, okay? These are basically trends here. You know, if you're playing a trend, you're playing this trend to hold above our zero line. And even though we cross bearish every once in a while, we're actually putting in higher lows now. And let's draw a little line there, just curiosity. But we're starting to tackle other areas here. Now, interestingly enough, maybe one more. So we're looking at kind of this line here of where we seem to top out on our leading indicator and our trailing indicator. Wow, look at that. That's very interesting. So when we get to this vector angle on our MACD here and here, we literally just hit it once again. Well, I mean, just hit it. We hit it a day ago when we actually hit that resistance there. And our blue line, our blue leading indicator, actually didn't get up as high as it could have based on where we had peaked off previously in the past. Now, we did a double hump here, right? We went up, we came down, we went up again, and then we came down again. So we've only kind of done our one bigger hump here, right? So there is precedent to do a second attempt, maybe putting in some sort of a lower high. So that could turn us this way and retest these areas again. I'm going to keep an eye on to see how we react if we find this again as an area of resistance, which clearly that's what we're currently seeing there. So that's interesting. Let's see here. Now our OBV was kind of suspect to me, where when we're not really I've seen this bearishly diverging, and what I mean by that, whoa, let's clean this up a little bit. So what I mean by that is I wanted to see more buying into this little pop here. I mean, I can probably bring it up in a little better here if I got my Bollingers. There we go, and have my TDs, even better. Okay, so we had this dip in the price action, and then we rose up. But here we had a dip in our OBV, and we didn't rise up at all. We're actually still kind of falling here, or at least flattening out. So our OBV is kind of suspect to me. It tells me there isn't a lot of this move here, this little bullishness we have, you know, in this kind of support holding area here, still a little suspect. And again, we keep topping off in. I'm gonna have to go to a different chart. This one's gonna be too cluttered in just a minute. Let's see. That's better. We consistently see this area of resistance. So look, we got rejected by getting into our bull channel here, but we are currently hitting our overall this line here. Now this line can kind of play around here. We have wicks, we have bodies. If I go body to body, which is always the way to do it, right? We are, oh, look at that, we're right there. Body, yeah, that looks pretty good. And actually, no, I would say that there, and I'd say, yeah, we're kind of breaking through a little bit. Now, again, this is the 4 hour. We still have 2.5 hours to go until this actually closes. So right now, we are testing once again this major resistance line. Now this line has been breached and come back, breached and come back again, and we were looking for this test. Now how close is this happening here to what happened over here? I mean, look at the similarities. Let me clean this up here. We peaked off, had a little chop, we broke bearish, and then we did an inverse BART, came back up, but put in a lower high, and then slowly bled until we quickly bled. Now we have a peak off here, a little chop, right? We have this sell off here, could be this sell off here, but we came back, lower high. Then we had our big dip, quick back up, a little bit of bullishness, right? A little consolidation, another push higher, but continuously hitting that same top area there. Interesting, which means we got a little more sideways to go, a couple more failed breakouts to go. There was 3 here, and then we had this quick nasty candle that got bought up, but that was kind of a sign to get out, and then sure enough it fell through. So this could show us we got a little more time for this to happen. Now look at our indicators here. Same setup. We have our EMA 12 on top, we have our EMA 26, and we have our EMA 55. And the 12 and 26 held support until they crossed bearishly, okay? And then the 55 held support for a little bit until it just was able to fail. And then when everything crossed bearishly, down we went. So now over here, we basically see something very similar, where we have our 12 is above our 26. Kind of in this pattern here, everything looked good, right? Nothing bad yet. And got to watch out for that cross. Got to watch out to see if we actually do cross bearish. Now, to prevent that and to actually spread these back out, okay, because now our EMAs are tight again. You know, here, this was really nice because they were fanning, okay, which means there was a lot of time for them to keep spreading out and to not bear cross. Now we're getting tight here, you know, and this move here really pulled them together. So we got to get some breakaway speed here and re-fan out our indicators there, and that will allow us to buy more time to get bullish. We have reset, which has tested this area, and this area, and they've all held, which is very encouraging. So there is still bullishness in the market there, but we are literally putting in a very similar pattern as how we ended our month of July. And that's notable. Until that changes, I'm kind of continue to watch this as what's kind of potentially happened with what's going on in Bitcoin. Let's go to a higher time frame here. Let's go to our daily. All right, so what's been acting as support? All right, so once we broke bullishly through our EMA 55, we've held candle close. Now we did break here with a wick, okay, and we found support a little bit above both our EMAs here. Now notice how we broke bullish here. We had a bull cross, okay, similar to what we had here, and this rocket shipped it up. Didn't say that. So, you know, we definitely have an example there where we can cross bullish and go on for a while here. But I'm kind of keeping an eye on this because I want these to spread out, as I mentioned there. The more we can spread out, the more faith I have in this move continuing bullishly and not kind of rolling over, okay? We actually have some decent bottom wicks here. So daily chart, we have 3 candles in a row here where we have some really nice bottom wicks that shows that the bulls are stepping in here when they keep buying up. So that's still very encouraging. And our volume, it's not been terrible. This was very low volume here. We had some good volume there. You know, these were red candles, but look how bought up this was, okay? So even though these are red, these are kind of bullish candles here. And that is encouraging. And right now we're putting in a pretty good candle here. I mean, I'd hard to say that this is bearish because this is showing that we have bought support up. And so far we have a decent looking hammer here. So we're going to see if we can keep this going. Now note what R is holding us up here. As long as our EMA 55 stands, right? As long as we can keep above our EMA 55, we can definitely keep this bullish momentum going. And you see, once we were able to break above our 55 here with a lot of conviction, it held and held and held for a very long time there. Let's look at our RSI. So we are trying to break through this chop we always hit when we between 56 and 61 or so. So we topped out at 59, found support at 55. Okay, so we're back testing this area here, and let's see if we can push it another push higher. Now our next major resistance is going to be around 64, and that would definitely bring us several $100s up on Bitcoin if we were going to get up that high. This has been a really nice. Now it's actually, this is nicer than this here because this just went up like crazy, and because it went up so fast, it was able to come down so fast. I like this consolidation in these areas here. It actually makes this move, in my opinion, a little bit stronger than the previous one there. Now we're still breaking bearish in our stochastic daily, but we do talk about how we do this kind of double rollover, some sort of the M top potentially. Right here is a good example of it here. So even though we're still angled bearish, you could see us come back around and put in a second attempt to go bullish and retest our 100 area here. But still, we are angled slightly on the bearish side there, and that is notable. Now our MACD on our daily, this is very interesting here. Again, we're getting more bullish here on our histogram. Our histogram, though, is slightly beginning to tick down, and we still haven't been able to get above zero on our trailing indicator. Now, seeing a couple areas here, like here, when we actually did turn bullish, we actually came back around a couple times before we were able to break through. Now, same here, we're opened up very bullishly right here, but as you see in this situation here, even when we started to perk up, there was a big moment where we actually had a quick correction there. So haven't had that yet in this chart here. So either we're still going very bullish, or we're just going to get stuck in some sort of a correction, which we constantly see after a certain amount of time. Got to watch to see our spacing here of our indicators, make sure that they don't get too wide and too ahead of themselves. And again, here's our OBV where we sold off quite a bit there, and I'm just not liking this. This should be a little bit higher in relative reaction to where the price currently is, right? It should be a little bit higher, and it's a little bit lower. And then in our daily here, we have our daily histogram. Now we have been watching this pattern play out here. Look at that right there. It did it again. It did it again. So we have hit our histogram mountain resistance line that we were watching to hit, like right there. Actually kind of peeking out just a little bit, but this is the daily chart, so it actually hasn't closed yet. But that will be interesting to see if this established angle here holds true. And if it does hold true, then we're going to be hitting some really hard resistance in this area and could potentially be rolling over our mountain again. I would like to break this trend, which would basically negate this bearish arrow here, because we finish our apex in the negative here. If this was going to be our resistance, then we're going back down again, but we know where our supports could be. So maybe the fall won't be as bad because of how tight we're getting close to our apex. This could bring us all the way into November. And this actually tightens up the price action pretty significantly here, which is good. That's important. That's what's necessary. That's what we want to see happen. Okay, so let's go back to Bitcoin, but let's take a look at our longs and shorts. Got a couple minutes to go here. So our Bitcoin shorts, I've been watching this really sell off like crazy for several days in a row. Let me pull up my TD here so you can see what I'm talking about. We're on a red 7. We're just pushing our Bollingers lower and lower. RSI is still actually interesting. RSI is getting back into an area where it finds support here, and here. 37 or so. Stochastic has completely pancaked. Gonna watch to see if that can turn, and our MACD is still, you see, that is one of your more bearer facing MACDs. But again, this is a trailing indicator here, and we're definitely on our first red histogram here. So This shorts don't seem like they're prepared to load up right now. They're getting, a lot of the profit here was probably taken from people that loaded down here, and then all this here was just shorts getting wrecked, and boy, they're showing it. This also takes out a lot of energy in the market. This basically makes it be like you're just not able to get that more momentum from some sort of a shorts being over leveraged, situation there. But we are, even though well, it's hard to say because this candle still has a lot of time left to play in it, but it does feel like we're leveling out a little bit. And our longs have barely even moved a lot at all. I mean, yeah, it's a decent looking, movement here. We're putting in higher lows, but still not a lot of conviction there. I mean, you would think that you'd have more feeling in what's going on here, and still we're still in a bear flag situation here, kind of until proven otherwise. We can go a little longer without this being crazy long, but because of our flagpole length, this definitely has a little more of a move to it, and this is kind of a bearish pattern still. So the Bitcoin longs is still setting up, I think, as somewhat of a bearish pattern. And if this breaks here, then definitely I would see that as basically playing out. So let's take a quick look here at our Bitcoin once again, see if we have any follow through. And what are we looking at for our next resistance line? So if we're able to really break out of here, that would be interesting. Now notice we are on a red 9 on our daily chart. Now the last time we hit a red 9, I'm sorry, not a red 9. What am I talking about? Red candle, green 9. I keep doing that. This is a green 9, okay? Now, the last time we hit a green 9, this was actually a beautiful green perfected 9. That did symbolize the top. That did. Now, sometimes we have a 9 and then we have a bleed out for a couple candles. Basically, you expect a 1 to 4 candle correction while we decide if we want to do a continuation or if we're going to change trend. So we have to note this, that the last time we had a green 9, that symbolized the top. The last time we had a red 9, which was perfected here, we actually pretty much symbolized the bottom, but it took a while to really confirm that. It took we can have to confirm that, but yes. So this is notable. Our daily 9 TD counts have been pretty accurate, right, in determining recent tops and more or less recent bottoms. And once again, we're on a green 9 here, finishing up the day. So this is interesting. Let's see where we are on our weekly here. We're on a red 4. And we look at that, we hit resistance on our EMA 55 at 71.54. Look at our volume here, people. Remember, we have 3 days left, Friday, Saturday. We have like 2.5 days left in the week, right? Lower volume, lower volume, lower volume. So 1, 2, 3, fourth day in a row of decreasing volume. Bitcoin, 1,911 cryptocurrencies on 13,641 markets with a market cap of 226,108,094,000. 24-hour volume under 13 billion. Bitcoin dominance 53.2 and holding. Bitcoin circulating supply 17,242,000. Now our 24-hour volume been about 4.5 billion, and we've been ranging there for a good 4 days now, 4 or 5 days in the 4.5 billion zone. Market cap around 120, got as low as 108, 107. Back on August 15th there. So head above water, no doubt. Volume is but not terrible. Okay, it's consistent. And the chart doesn't look that bad if we can break out of these lower highs. So even though we've poked our head back around 7,000 here, this is encouraging. Now looking at Ethereum here, Ethereum is just continuing to bleed out on its red 9 here. This is its ETC, BTC equivalent. USD also on a red 5, finding support here towards our lower Bollinger. Volume is iffy. This is on our weekly here, but look at, we are crossing bullish on our stochastic. And our RSI has found some support at 35. which is a historic area here as well. So yeah, there's some stability here after being just really sold off for so many weeks in a row here. But we need more volume. We need more bull volume. Looking at Litecoin here, weekly chart, we're still on a red 5. That's a decent weekly candle. Nice little green one there. Okay, a couple more days for this to close. Okay, we did have a little pop here for a couple weeks when we stopped our bleed here. There wasn't very long lived there, and we still are on a red 5. We do have a bull cross of our stochastic, which has been in just the crapper all through July here and all through August. So that's notable. And our RSI found support at 35. Interesting. Again, an area of very strong history. We could go as low as there, but okay, so we're putting in something here. But look how just bearish this is, and look at this kind of a wedge we're putting in here. Yeah, it's more of a channel than a wedge, which means we can definitely break a little more bullish, and this is encouraging here. Litecoin back over 60, you know, I'll take that. I'll take that. So yeah, I think it's a good place to finish up here for a Friday. I didn't want to go too crazy. Don't want to put too much into your guys here, but I wanted to just talk about these areas here where we're getting to test again, and really we have to wait for confirmation because we want to see if this break of this major resistance line is real deal. And I like the volume on the hourly charts, looking pretty good. You know, once again, looks like we're trying to retest, get back into our channel line resistance, which has held us down for quite a while here. Right, we were rejected here, so we're trying to put in a second push to get back into our bull channel here. So even though we break through our yellow line of resistance, which was notable, we still got to get back into our bull channel, and that's it. And if we can break in through there, I'd hit our lower Bollinger at 71.40. Middle line here, somewhere around 72.35. And remember, we still have our little gap here on our Bitcoin futures CME all the way up to 72.50, 72.60. So if we can candle up to there or wick up to there, that would fill that gap. Also have a gap down here, very little one, but it's still there at 66.50 as well. So thanks guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. Guys, have a great weekend. Okay, I'll be on the Twitter, keeping you guys informed about what's going on and what I'm seeing out there. Enjoy your holiday weekend as well, my fellow Americans, and we'll be in touch because this is a very interesting time here for Bitcoin. We're wanting to see if we can turn somewhat of a corner. Our volume long term really isn't showing that, but the price action is definitely putting in a higher low here, being very consistent with trying to do that. But until we can really get some breakout of this area here, that's not going to happen, and we really need that volume at good news. So a lot of good news coming out with some of this Bitcoin price action, and we're just not seeing a tremendous amount of follow through with that on the prices here. So stay safe through the weekend. Remember, weekends plus holidays can potentially mean low volume environments here. So those are times where you can get some crazy volatility because of a lack of just people in the current market. So stay safe, guys. Talk to you soon. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I love doing these for you guys and keeping you posted. Remember, if you have any questions about my mentoring, I'm scheduling for the second week in September now because my first week is all booked up, which is great. So have a great weekend, everybody. This is BigChonis signing out. Talk to you soon.